Neqotkuk N'Tetli Mikwi Tahasoltipen. Too big we are remembering.
I'm Danielle Moulton from Tobic First Nation. The kind of art I do is painting. I do acrylic painting. I do drawings too sometimes, but mostly just painting. And I do ceramics when I can, working with clay. I enjoy, but mostly painting is. So I started when I was like young. I've been always making art my whole life. I've always just been drawing to keep myself busy, and but officially I think I was like 16 because I was in high school, and they did this, they had like some kind of art program, and they selected a few students and I didn't get picked. So I told my mom. So I got in the next day. But then anyways, it's the first time I like had like a chance to do like something, like they wanted us just to paint. So I don't even know what ever happened to those. I have pictures of them, but I did 2 like acrylic paintings, and that was the first time that I really enjoyed it, and something beautiful came out. So 16, I'm 30 now, so 14 years. Okay, so my biggest artist influences are, well, I mean locally, Natalie Sapier, super big influence. I think she is awesome in what she does. Emma, you know, another great painter. I think of like artists, like more famous, known older artists, would be like, I don't know, I love Picasso. I love like Monet, you know, those like really big ones. I would say those 2 are my favorite. What motivates me to create? Like, I think it's the biggest thing is when I get an idea, like I won't stop thinking about it until I get it out. And painting for me is the easiest way to get my creative ideas out. I always tell everyone to have a bunch of hobbies, and painting is such a fun hobby for me. Like beyond like, I sell my paintings too, so it is like a business. It's one of my favorite hobbies because time passes by so fast. And I kind of like, in my head when I'm painting, I have like a list of just things I have to do. So I'm just checking off the list. And for me, that's satisfying, checking off the list. And then, you know, that's kind of like the process in my head anyways when I'm working. My biggest inspiration is nature, everything outside. I'm always taking pictures, I'm always seeing like things that inspire me. Over time, my style has changed, I would say. I really like colors, so I use a lot of bright colors. So as I progress in like trying to find my style, my painting has changed. As I find new things to paint more often, like it changes how I paint that thing. It starts with an idea. Like I'll see a sunset or I'll see a sky that I'm like, wow, I need to paint that. Sometimes I plan it out, sometimes I don't plan out my paintings. I just have to start. Because if you get caught up in the plan, for me, that's like my writer's block. I haven't always like drawn out what I'm gonna paint. I'm starting to do that more now. So I think that's maybe a change in my process. I have a projector. So I used to think that that was like cheating for me. Like, and I was like, but no, it's not. It's not cheating. Like, you know, I'm still painting, but it is helping me with like my proportions and my, like getting things to scale. So that's kind of new. But letting myself do that, you know, because it's like, right now, I'm not really into digital art. I'm just starting to dabble. So that's kind of like my little hack that I'm doing. You kind of get in the flow of things, like I said. And so I'll have a list. So if I decide I'm going to paint a person, I'll figure out where I want to, my layout. So I'll figure out my layout. And then I always like using gold too. So like that's like a finishing step. Once I do things like, and I do things in layers too. I really like acrylic painting because it's super forgiving. When art is forgiving, you can make a mistake and just, it's not the end of the piece. My art career developed, I would say it started off, I was living in Red Bank at the time, and the first painting I ever sold, I always remember, her name was Margaret Levi. She passed away, rest in peace. But she was the first person to ever buy a painting from me, and it was a dream catcher, and it had like 3 circles, or 3 like dream catchers kind of all connected. And yeah, that was my first sale, and it was before I went to my first powwow that I had sold it. Paintings, I sold some tickets on a painting, and I was super successful. Like for the first time, like I was like, wow. And I had to be really brave. You know, when you're doing your sales, you have to be brave. You have to talk to everybody who walks by. And then from there, a powwow, and then I would do a craft sale. And then just on my Facebook, I was selling art just through the people I knew on there. And then it wasn't until years later, I think it was my siblings were in the Jedi course, the business course, and they were making their Facebook pages, and I was like, I should do it. So I made my Facebook page, and so that's kind of how I started with that. You know, when someone asks you to paint a loved one, whether that be human or animal, you know, it's big. And you know, like a lot of the times when I do like my memorial pieces, like I pray for the person that I'm painting, you know, I pray for their families. Like I like to smudge the paintings that I do. Yeah, so and so, you know, I put a lot of love into it too. So any memorial piece definitely impacts me, you know, because I want to put so much into it, and I want to put so much love into it, so that, you know, when you look at it, that they feel that. Just like working with kids, doing art with kids is a lot of fun. I do an art club, so we have so much fun. Art club is kind of like art tutoring in a way, maybe. Just showing them how to do different things, and we have a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't keep a lot of art for myself. This was one of the first paintings that I did, and I kept because I loved it so much. One thing I work on, or I'm trying to work on, especially in the last few years, is to let my brush strokes show. I think I'm a perfectionist in the way that I want. Like I try to push for realism when I can, but I'm always trying to like hide my paint marks, so or my paint strokes. So I'm trying to like lean into letting like the strokes show, and letting like the bits of other colors behind it show through. You know, letting the canvas behind shine through, and like that being okay. For when I saw Starry Night for the first time, the only time. But you know, it had the canvas was shining, was like poking through it, and I was like, if they can do it, so can I. It's okay. Like, cause for so long it wasn't okay. So, and you know, like and something like this, you have to really like, you can't overpaint it. Like, you know, so you make like one movement, and if you mix this up, it becomes something different, and all the colors blend together. So, you know, like this didn't take me long to paint at all, but it's because you have to like know when to stop. So for this one, one thing I do say just about when I'm painting, to me, I always say some canvases, they know what they're gonna be, and I paint them right away. Some canvases have a journey. So this one was something else. I was actually working on an order, and I had 2 going on at once because I didn't know how I wanted to do it. I wanted to see it. But so covering that up, painting a sky. This is just the first layer. I paint up in layers, so especially in the early stages, it doesn't always look good. Doesn't always, it's not super finesse, but as I keep going, it's only gonna get better. That's what this painting is. This is a print of one of my fiddleheads. I paint paint them seasonally. I try to paint them every springtime, like when they actually come out. This one, I think I did in 2002, it says. I really forget. 2021. So I painted this one 2 years ago. And I think these were like some of the first prints I did. And this was definitely one of my favorites because I think I had really good shading in this one. When I paint fiddleheads, to me it's always like a family. You know, fiddleheads, they grow inwards towards each other. So I always just see and feel like a close-knit family when I'm painting them. This one right here is another one I'm working on of a crow. I don't know, I'm always wanting to paint crows, something, I don't know, I'm just being called to do right now. And it's really hard. It's, you know, you wouldn't think it's kind of hard to paint the crow, but it's so dark. Anything that's so dark is actually kind of hard to paint because I'm painting mostly of the highlights and the shadows. This is like 2 sessions I've worked on this so far, so got a few more to go, but I really loved and wanted that like purpley pink sunset background. I might add some power lines because I just think they look cool. Art is it's free, but like there's like no rules, you know, like there's no rules to art, and a lot of people I think have ideas of how their art should be, you know, from what they see, but there's no rules, and getting creative makes you feel good, do it. If you have that calling, you have it for a reason. So you yeah, don't be afraid to jump right in and make the mistakes. And I think it's so cool because the way I see things and the way like anyone else see things is going to be different. I think sometimes like I'll get blocks if I have too many orders. If I have too many orders and I'm not painting for myself, like that's like for me, that'll like cause a big block for me. I have to, for me, paint those things that I'm thinking about. Like I have to let those out. And if I'm focusing too much on like orders, sometimes I'll get really big. Like if I have an order for a really big painting, and I'll be working on it for a long time, or if I had like a complex painting that I know that's gonna take me months to do, because like especially because I have to like factor in that I know I'm gonna like be thinking about painting it, and but I can't paint where I live, like it, because it's a constant reminder like you should be painting. I'll be like, no, I won't. And so I have to have this separate from my living area. I think as an artist, we all have self-doubts. I assume, you know, I can paint something and think this is awful. This is the worst painting I ever did. And then I'll keep it. I'll have paintings like laying around for months and so close to being finished. And sometimes like I'll just have my self-doubt, so I'll just put it to the side and I'll let time pass. And usually that helps, and I can kind of finish it up. And posting art and like sharing it with people, that helps too, like, you know, that positive reinforcement. Like advice I would give somebody for if they had a block, like, I mean, I think it'll be different for everyone what works, but you know, I would say try doing something for yourself, some art for yourself. Like what's something that has been on your mind maybe for a long time, that you can't get out of your head. Like maybe try to do something towards that. Maybe try something new, try like new art. Like I know I bought like a diamond painting for myself to do when I had some free time, so that helped. Maybe, I don't know, walk outside and allow yourself to have a break. Like sometimes, you know, like when you're an artist, you do so much work, and you're like, I know for me, I'm so bad. If I'm not like producing something, I'm really hard on myself. And then I'm such a hard worker. If I'm not like having multiple things done at the same time. If I'm not being super like maxed out productive, I give myself a hard time. So like letting yourself say, hey, if you need a break, if you're burnt out, like say it's okay. Say you're not having an art, like don't even call it an artist break. Give yourself an actual break.
Yeah.
You know, like it could be that, because I need to tell myself that I'm not like a production company or something. You know what I mean? I'm not something that's going to mass produce things constantly. You shouldn't have that expectation of yourself. It's not realistic, and it takes the fun out of it. But at the same time, like sometimes I can thrive under that pressure. Like sometimes I can crank stuff out really quickly because I am a procrastinator by nature. So always been. I feel like I always will. But so it's like you have to just, it's like having a balance of that, you know, not doing it to a point where it's like you're crying, because I've done that too. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, because this is fun for us, right? You know, and it feels good, and we get so much from it, but maintaining that, and you know, life balance too, right? Like life balance, work balance. There's so much stuff to keep balanced. So as long as it stays fun, I think that's the most important thing.
Neqotkuk N'Tetli Mikwi Tahasoltipen. Too big we are remembering.